In 1923, a British scholar named Ernest Wood translated an ancient Hindu text called the Garuda Purana. When he finished reading it, he wrote in his journal, "I've discovered something that disturbs me to my core." This text describes death with such precision, such vivid detail, that I question whether the ancient rishis somehow knew what we cannot. What did he discover? A roadmap of death itself. A guide to what happens in the moments after your last breath. And today, you're going to learn what thousands of years of Hindu wisdom reveals about the greatest mystery of human existence. By the end of this video, you'll understand the journey every soul must take. You'll learn why Hindu families perform specific rituals on specific days. And you'll discover why understanding death might be the key to living a better life. But I need to warn you, some of what you're about to hear is uncomfortable. It's meant to be, because the Garuda Purana wasn't written to comfort you. It was written to prepare you. So let me take you back to ancient India, where this knowledge was first revealed. Thousands of years ago, Lord Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, sat upon the cosmic serpent Shesha. Before him stood Garuda, his divine vehicle, the mighty eagle who carries him across the heavens. Garuda had a question that every human being has asked since the beginning of time. "My lord," Garuda said, "what happens to the soul when the body dies? Where does it go? What does it experience? And how can the living help those who have passed?" And so Vishnu began to speak. The words he spoke became the Garuda Purana. 18 chapters, 7,000 verses, and within those verses, the most detailed description of death and the afterlife in all of Hindu scripture. Now, here's what makes this text different from others. Most religious texts speak of death abstractly, heaven and hell, good and bad. The Garuda Purana, it's specific, terrifyingly specific. It describes the exact journey the soul takes, the beings it meets, the trials it faces, the time frames involved. It's not a metaphor, it's presented as a literal map. And in traditional Hindu families, when someone dies, the Garuda Purana is read aloud for 13 days. Not to scare people, but to guide the departed soul, to remind the living of their duties, and to teach everyone that death is not the end. It's a transition. So let's begin the journey. Let's follow the soul from the moment of death to its ultimate destination. And let me tell you, this journey is unlike anything you've ever imagined. Picture this moment. You're lying in bed. Your family surrounds you. You can hear their voices, but they sound distant, like they're underwater. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your vision blurs. And then, in one final moment, something inside you realizes. This is it. According to the Garuda Purana, the moment of death is not instant. There's a transition. The subtle body, which includes your mind, intellect, ego, and all your karmic impressions, begins to separate from the physical body. The ancient texts call this the Sukshma Sharira, leaving the Sthula Sharira. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. The Bhagavad Gita, another sacred Hindu text, says something profound about this exact moment. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain. Your last thought matters. Your last emotion matters. What occupies your consciousness in those final moments can influence where your soul goes next. This is why, in Hindu tradition, families chant mantras near the dying. They speak the names of God. They try to elevate the consciousness of the departing soul. But let's say the person dies with their mind full of attachment, fear, anger, desire. What happens then? The Garuda Purana describes this state. The soul, now separated from the body, doesn't immediately realize it's dead. It sees its own body lying there. It sees family members crying. It tries to speak to them, nothing. It tries to touch them. Its hand passes through. Confusion sets in, then panic. The soul is still conscious, still aware, but trapped between two worlds. Not fully in the physical realm, yet not fully in the spiritual realm either. And it's in this vulnerable state that the first beings appear. Their names are the Yamadoots, servants of Yama, the god of death. And according to the Garuda Purana, they arrive almost immediately. Now let me describe what the text says about them. They're not gentle, they're not kind. Their appearance reflects the karma of the soul they've come to collect. For a soul burdened with sins, the Yamadoots appear terrifying, dark-skinned, red eyes, carrying nooses and weapons. Their voices harsh. But for a soul that lived with dharma, with righteousness, the text says different messengers arrive. Sometimes even celestial beings. Sometimes the soul sees light instead of darkness. But for most people, for ordinary souls with mixed karma, the journey is difficult. The Yamadoots bind the soul with an invisible cord, and the journey to Yamaloka, the realm of Yama, begins. But this isn't a quick journey. It's not like you die and instantly appear before God. No. The Garuda Purana says this journey takes time, and it's filled with trials. Before we continue, I need you to understand something about Hindu cosmology. The universe, according to ancient texts, isn't just the physical world we see. There are multiple lokas, multiple realms of existence. Bhuloka is earth. Devaloka is the realm of gods. Naraka is the realm of purification and suffering. And Yamaloka, it's the realm of judgment. The soul must travel from Bhuloka to Yamaloka. And on the way, it must pass through 16 cities, 16 stages of the journey, each one more challenging than the last. Let me take you through some of them. The first city is called Saumya. Here, the soul experiences intense thirst and hunger. Remember, the soul still retains the subtle impressions of the body. It feels these sensations, but it has no physical form to satisfy them. This is why, on the first day after death, Hindu families offer water and food. They perform a ritual called Pindadan, offering rice bowls. The belief? These offerings provide subtle nourishment to the traveling soul. Skeptical? I understand. But stay with me, because whether you believe this literally or see it as symbolic, there's profound wisdom here about consciousness, attachment, and letting go. The soul moves to the second city, Sauripura. Here it encounters extreme heat and cold. The text describes the soul burning with thirst, freezing with cold, suffering from the elements. Why? Because the soul is still attached to physical sensations. It hasn't yet understood its true nature as pure consciousness. By the third city, Nagendra, the soul begins to see its past. Memories flood in, every action, every word, every thought. The text says nothing is hidden, nothing is forgotten. Your consciousness has recorded everything. Modern neuroscience has actually discovered something interesting here. When people have near-death experiences, many report a life review, a rapid replay of their entire life. They see their actions from multiple perspectives, including how their actions affected others. The Garuda Purana described this phenomenon thousands of years before we had the technology to study it. In the fourth city, Gandharva, the soul encounters other departed souls. Some are family members who died before, some are strangers. The text says souls recognize each other based on karmic connections. Your grandmother who died when you were young. The Garuda Purana suggests her soul might greet you here, if your karma is good. But here's where it gets dark. In the fifth city, Shailagama, the soul begins to face obstacles based on its karma. If you caused suffering to others in life, you experience that suffering now. If you were cruel, you face cruelty. If you were kind, you receive help. The text describes this with brutal honesty. It speaks of souls who stole being bound by chains, souls who lied having their tongues pulled, souls who harmed others being beaten. Is this literal? Or is it consciousness experiencing the weight of its own actions? The text leaves room for both interpretations. By the 6th and 7th cities, Krauncha and Vaikuntha, the soul's journey becomes even more intense. The heat increases. The path narrows. Some souls, those with great spiritual merit, are said to bypass these difficulties entirely. They're lifted upward toward higher realms, but ordinary souls must continue the difficult path. Cities 8 through 12 involve tests of attachment. Did you cling to wealth? The text says you'll see piles of gold you cannot touch. Did you crave power? You'll witness kingdoms you cannot rule. Did you lust after pleasures? You'll see objects of desire forever out of reach. This is the purification process, the burning away of attachments. And it's agonizing precisely because the soul still wants these things but can no longer have them. The 13th city is called Bhavapada. Here the text says, the soul crosses a river, not a physical river, a river of pus, blood, and filth created by the collective sins of humanity. Souls who performed good deeds find the river shallow and easy to cross. Those who harmed others find it deep, filled with creatures that bite and tear. Again, literal or symbolic. The choice is yours. But the message is clear. Your actions in life determine your experience after death. Cities 14 and 15 bring the soul close to Yamaloka. The path becomes darker, the air heavier. The soul's anxiety increases because it knows what's coming next. The judgment. At the 16th city, Vitihotra, the soul finally arrives at the gates of Yamaloka, and this is where everything you've ever done will be revealed. Now let me paint this picture for you. Yamaloka is described as a vast realm. At its center sits Yama, the Lord of Death, on a throne of judgment. He's not evil. He's not cruel for the sake of cruelty. He's Dharma personified. Perfect justice. Absolute fairness. To Yama's right sits Chitragupta. And this being is fascinating. Chitragupta is the divine accountant, the keeper of records. The Garuda Purana says he maintains a ledger for every single soul that has ever lived. Every action you've taken, every word you've spoken, every thought you've had is recorded in his books. Think about that for a moment. Modern technology tracks our digital footprints. Cameras record our movements. Our phones log our locations. But the ancient rishis said consciousness itself records everything. Your soul is the ultimate black box recorder. When the soul arrives before Yama and Chitragupta, the books are opened. And here's what the text says happens next. The soul cannot lie, cannot hide, cannot make excuses. It sees its own life with perfect clarity. Every act of kindness, every moment of cruelty, every time it helped, every time it harmed. The Garuda Purana describes different categories of karma being weighed. Papa, which means sin or negative karma, and punya, which means merit or positive karma. But here's something most people don't know. Not all sins are equal, and not all good deeds carry the same weight. The text lists what it calls the Maha Pataka, the great sins. 5 actions so severe they create immense suffering in the afterlife. The first is Brahmahatya, killing a Brahmin or a spiritual teacher. Not because Brahmins are superior, but because killing someone who guides others spiritually destroys knowledge in the world. The second great sin is Surapana, addiction that destroys your consciousness and harms your family. The third is Staya, stealing from those who have little. The fourth is Gurutalpaga, violating the trust of those who depend on you. And the fifth is associating with those who commit these sins and supporting their actions. But the text also describes Maha Punya, great merits, feeding the hungry, giving water to the thirsty, protecting those who cannot protect themselves, teaching without expecting reward, serving your parents in their old age. These actions, the Garuda Purana says, carry immense positive weight. So Chitragupta weighs everything, and based on the balance, based on whether your punya outweighs your papa or vice versa, Yama makes his judgment, and this is where your soul's next destination is determined. The Garuda Purana describes 3 primary paths after judgment, 3 destinations where the soul might go, and each one is detailed with remarkable precision. The first path leads upward to Devaloka, the realm of the gods. This is not permanent heaven. Nothing in Hindu cosmology is permanent except moksha, liberation. Devaloka is a realm of pleasure, of rest, of reward for good karma. The text describes it as a place of beautiful gardens, celestial music, wish-fulfilling trees, and divine beings. Souls who lived righteous lives, who performed their duties, who helped others, who controlled their desires, they ascend to Devaloka. And here they enjoy the fruits of their good karma. They experience joy, peace, and beauty. But here's the key. This is temporary. Once their good karma is exhausted, once they've enjoyed their reward, they return to earth for another birth. The second path, the most common one, leads directly to rebirth. Most souls don't go to heaven or hell. They go straight back to earth, born into circumstances that match their karma. Your actions in your previous life determine your next birth, your family, your opportunities, your challenges. The Garuda Purana explains this through the law of karma with scientific precision. Good karma creates favorable conditions, bad karma creates obstacles. Mixed karma, which most people have, creates a mixed life. Some happiness, some suffering, some opportunities, some setbacks. Sound familiar? This is the life most of us live. But the third path is the one the Garuda Purana spends the most time describing, and it's the path that has made this text both feared and respected for thousands of years. The path to Naraka, the realm of purification through suffering. Now, I need to clarify something crucial. Naraka is not the Christian concept of hell. It's not eternal damnation. In Hindu philosophy, nothing is eternal except the soul itself and the possibility of liberation. Naraka is temporary. It's a place where souls go to purify themselves of negative karma through experiencing the consequences of their actions. Think of it like this. If you put your hand in fire, you get burned. The fire isn't punishing you. It's just the natural consequence of your action. Naraka works the same way. You experience the effects of the harm you caused. And once that karma is exhausted, you're reborn. But here's where the Garuda Purana gets intensely detailed. It doesn't just say there's one hell. It describes 28 different types of Naraka, 28 specific realms, each one designed to purify specific types of negative karma. Let me describe some of them, not to scare you, but because understanding these gives insight into what ancient Hindu philosophy considered truly harmful behavior. Tamisra is the first Naraka. It's described as a realm of utter darkness and confusion. Who goes there? Those who stole another person's wealth or property and caused them suffering. The experience? Feeling the same loss, the same desperation, the same helplessness that the victim felt. And Tamisra is darker still. This is where souls go if they committed adultery or violated someone's trust in intimate relationships. The text says these souls experience betrayal, heartbreak, and loneliness magnified 1,000 times. Raurava is described as a realm of constant screaming. Who ends up there? Those who caused pain to living beings for pleasure or profit. Hunters who killed for sport. Those who tortured animals. The experience is feeling that same pain inflicted on you. Mahara is even more intense. It's for those who harm others for personal gain, knowing full well they're causing suffering, corruption, exploitation, taking advantage of the vulnerable. The text describes this realm as being torn apart by beings called Rurus, which symbolize the karmic debts coming back. Kumbhipaka, which means cooking in oil, is where the Garuda Purana says souls go if they killed animals or humans without just cause. Not for food, not for protection, but for pleasure or greed. The experience mirrors the cooking, the burning, the suffering inflicted on those beings. There's Kalsutra, where souls are burned by extreme heat and cold simultaneously. This is for those who disrespected their parents, their teachers, and their elders, those who took care and love for granted. Asaipa is described as a forest of sword-shaped leaves. Every step cuts the soul. Who walks there? Those who abandon their dharma, their righteous duty, especially toward family and dependents. Sukaramuka is perhaps the most disturbing. It's described as a place where souls are crushed by machines. Who experiences this? Those who tortured others, who enjoyed watching suffering, who inflicted pain without remorse. The Garuda Purana continues listing these realms, each more specific than the last. There's Andhakupa for those who harmed living beings and then hid their actions. There's Krimi Bhojana for those who hoarded wealth while others around them starved. There's Sandamsa for those who broke sacred vows. And here's what's remarkable about all of this. Each punishment directly mirrors the crime. Each suffering reflects the suffering caused. It's not arbitrary, it's perfectly just. Karmic precision. But remember, this is not forever. The text is clear. Once the negative karma is burned away through these experiences, the soul is released. It returns to earth for another chance, another birth, another opportunity to live with Dharma. Now you might be thinking, this sounds terrifying. Is there any way to avoid this? Is there any way to help someone who's already died? And this is where the Garuda Purana becomes deeply practical. Because yes, according to the text, the living can help the dead. This is why Hindu funeral rituals are so specific, so detailed, so important. Let me explain the 13-day period after death and what happens during each stage. On the first day when someone dies, the body is prepared for cremation. But why cremation? Why not burial? The Garuda Purana explains that fire is the ultimate purifier. It's the fastest way to release the soul from its attachment to the physical form. The smoke carries prayers upward. The flames burn away the material, leaving only the spiritual. As the body burns, family members chant mantras, specific Vedic verses that guide the soul. Asato Masad Gamaya, Tamaso Majyotir Gamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. Lead me from falsehood to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. These aren't just words. According to the text, the soul can hear them, and they provide comfort during the confusion of the early death state. On the third day, the ritual of Pindadan begins. Every day for 13 days, family members offer rice bowls, water, and specific foods. Why? Because the Garuda Purana says the subtle body of the departed soul is being reconstructed in those 13 days for its journey. Stay with me here, because this is fascinating from both a spiritual and psychological perspective. The text says that in the first 3 days after death, the soul doesn't have a stable form. It's confused, scattered. The Pinda offerings help the soul gather itself, recognize its new state, and prepare for the journey. By the 4th day, the soul begins to understand it's dead. By the 7th day, it starts to detach from its old life. By the 10th day, it's ready to begin the journey to Yamaloka. And on the 13th day, the final Pinda is offered, and the soul is believed to have reached the gates of judgment. But the family's duty doesn't end there. On the annual death anniversary, called the Shraddha ceremony, families offer food and prayers again. Why? Because according to the Garuda Purana, these offerings generate punya, merit, which can be transferred to the departed soul. Think about that concept. Your good deeds can help someone who's already dead. Your prayers, your charity, your righteousness can actually reduce their suffering in other realms or improve their next birth. This is why, in Hindu tradition, children are expected to perform Shraddha for their parents. It's not superstition. It's love extending beyond death. It's the recognition that we're all connected, that our actions ripple through time and space, that consciousness doesn't end with the body. But here's the question that should be on your mind right now. Is there a way to avoid this entire cycle? Is there a way to never experience Naraka, to never return to Earth, to escape this wheel of birth, death, and rebirth? Yes, and it's called Moksha, liberation. The Garuda Purana dedicates significant space to this topic because, ultimately, this is the goal. Not to go to heaven, not to have a good rebirth, but to transcend the cycle entirely, to merge back with the infinite consciousness from which we came. But moksha is not easy. If it were, everyone would achieve it. The text describes the qualities necessary for liberation. First, viveka, discrimination. The ability to distinguish between the eternal and the temporary, between the real and the illusion. Most people chase temporary pleasures and believe this physical world is all there is. The seeker of moksha sees through this illusion. Second, vairagya, detachment. Not rejection of the world, but non-attachment to outcomes. You perform your duties, you live your life, but you don't cling. You don't let desire control you. You don't let fear drive you. Third, the shatsampat, the 6 virtues. Control over the mind, control over the senses, the ability to endure difficulties with peace, faith in the spiritual path, focus and concentration, and equanimity, the ability to remain balanced in pleasure and pain, success and failure, praise and criticism. Fourth, mumukshutva, the intense desire for liberation. Not just a casual interest, not just a hobby, but a burning need to know the truth, to realize your real nature, to be free. The Garuda Purana says that souls who develop these qualities, who live with Dharma, who meditate on the divine, who see God in all beings, these souls do not travel the path to Yamaloka. When they die, they're immediately liberated. They merge with Brahman, the infinite consciousness. No judgment, no rebirth, no suffering. They become one with everything. Now, let's bring this back to reality, back to your life, right now. Because here's what the Garuda Purana is really teaching. Death is not the end. It's a transition. And the quality of that transition depends entirely on how you live right now. Every action matters. Every word matters. Every thought matters. Not because some external God is judging you, but because consciousness itself records everything. Because karma is not punishment, it's the natural law of cause and effect operating at the level of consciousness. When you harm others, you're harming yourself. When you help others, you're helping yourself. Not in some distant afterlife, not in some abstract way, but in the very fabric of your consciousness, in your experience of reality itself. The Garuda Purana asks you to imagine your death. Not morbidly, but practically. If you died today, right now, how would you feel about your life? What would you regret? What would you wish you had done differently? Don't wait until you're on your deathbed to ask these questions. Ask them now, and then live accordingly. The text emphasizes certain actions that create particularly strong positive karma. Let me share them with you because these are universal principles. They transcend religion. They transcend culture. First, truthfulness. Speak the truth even when it's difficult. Lies create confusion in consciousness. Truth creates clarity. Second, non-violence, ahimsa. Not just physical non-violence, but violence in speech and thought. When you harbor hatred, when you wish harm on others, you're poisoning your own consciousness. Third, service. Seva, helping others without expecting reward. Feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, teaching those who want to learn. These actions purify the heart faster than any ritual. Fourth, gratitude. Recognizing what you have. Appreciating those who help you, honoring your parents, your teachers, those who gave you opportunities. Ingratitude hardens the heart. Gratitude opens it. Fifth, self-control, mastery over your impulses. The ability to choose your actions rather than being driven by cravings and fears. This is true freedom. And sixth, devotion, bhakti, connecting with something larger than yourself. Whether you call it God, consciousness, the universe, or simply the mystery of existence, recognizing that you're part of something infinite. The Garuda Purana says that if you live with these principles, death becomes not something to fear, but something to prepare for peacefully. Your last moments become opportunities for transcendence rather than panic, and your journey after death becomes significantly easier. But I want to address something directly. Some of you watching this might be thinking, this is all mythology. This is ancient superstition. Where's the proof? And that's a fair question. Let me offer you a different perspective. In the last 50 years, researchers have studied thousands of near-death experiences. People who were clinically dead, who had no brain activity, who then returned to life. And what did they report? Many described leaving their bodies and watching from above. They described meeting beings of light. They described a life review where they experienced their actions from others' perspectives. They described realms of beauty and realms of suffering. They described feeling judged not by an external force, but by their own conscience, magnified and clarified. These accounts come from people of all religions and no religion, from all cultures, from all backgrounds, and the similarities are striking. Now, does this prove the Garuda Purana is literally true? No, science doesn't work that way, but it suggests that the ancient rishis who wrote these texts might have been describing real features of consciousness, real experiences that happen when the brain's normal filtering mechanisms shut down. Modern physics tells us that consciousness might be fundamental to reality, that matter and energy are forms of information, that the universe might be more like a thought than a thing. The Vedantic philosophy that underlies the Garuda Purana has been saying this for millennia. So maybe, just maybe, these texts aren't primitive superstitions. Maybe they're sophisticated maps of consciousness. Maybe they're descriptions of territories that exist beyond normal waking awareness. Or maybe they're powerful psychological tools, metaphors designed to guide human behavior, stories that encode deep truths about cause and effect, about the consequences of our actions, about the importance of living ethically. Either way, the wisdom is valuable. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this wisdom. It's a story from the Garuda Purana itself, about a king named Harishchandra. King Harishchandra was known for his truthfulness. He never spoke a lie, no matter what it cost him. One day, the sage Vishwamitra decided to test this virtue. Through various challenges and supernatural interventions, Vishwamitra made Harishchandra lose everything: his kingdom, his wealth, his palace, his throne. But the king never abandoned truth. He sold himself into slavery to pay a debt. His wife became a servant. His son died from a snake bite, and when his wife came to cremate their child, she couldn't afford the cremation fee. Harishchandra, now working at the cremation ground, demanded payment even from his own wife because that was his duty. In that moment of absolute despair, when everything was lost, the gods revealed themselves. It was all a test, and because Harishchandra never abandoned dharma, never compromised his principles even in the worst circumstances. He was granted immediate moksha. His soul was liberated without any journey, without any judgment. The lesson: your character is tested not in comfort, but in crisis. Your commitment to righteousness matters most when it costs you everything. And the soul that maintains its integrity, regardless of external circumstances, transcends all suffering. That's the message of the Garuda Purana. Not to scare you with descriptions of hell, but to inspire you to live with such integrity, such consciousness, such awareness that death becomes merely a doorway, not a disaster. Now let's talk about the practical application of this knowledge. How do you actually prepare for death according to the Garuda Purana? The text recommends several practices. First, daily meditation on the impermanence of life. Not morbid obsession, but healthy awareness. This body will die. This life will end. So what really matters? What deserves your energy and attention? Second, regular contemplation of death. Imagine your last day. What would you want to feel? What would you want to have accomplished? Who would you want to have helped? Use death as a teacher. Let it clarify your priorities. Third, practice dying before you die. What does this mean? It means learning to let go of grudges, of attachments, of the need to control, of identifying with your possessions, your status, your roles. These things aren't you. You're the consciousness experiencing them. Fourth, live each day as if it might be your last. Not recklessly, but fully. Speak the words you need to speak. Express the love you feel. Do the work that matters. Fix the relationships that need fixing. Don't procrastinate on what's important. Fifth, develop equanimity. Practice remaining centered whether things go well or poorly. Whether you're praised or criticized. Whether you succeed or fail. This trains your consciousness to remain stable during the ultimate transition of death. Sixth, cultivate compassion. The Garuda Purana emphasizes this repeatedly. The easiest way to generate good karma is to genuinely care about the welfare of others, to help reduce suffering wherever you can, to be a force for good in the world. And seventh, connect with the divine daily. Through prayer, through mantra, through devotion, through service. However you understand spirituality, make it a practice, not just a belief. Because at the moment of death, your spiritual practice becomes your support. Let me address one more important topic. What about those who die suddenly, in accidents, in disasters, without warning, without preparation? The Garuda Purana addresses this. It says that the state of consciousness you maintain throughout your life determines your experience at death more than the circumstances of death itself. If you've lived with awareness, with dharma, with spiritual practice, then even sudden death doesn't throw you into confusion. Your accumulated spiritual momentum carries you forward. It's like muscle memory, but for consciousness. This is why the text emphasizes daily practice rather than deathbed conversions. You can't suddenly become enlightened in your final moments if you've lived unconsciously your entire life. But if you've been cultivating awareness all along, death becomes a natural transition. The text also talks about children who die young. Where do their souls go? According to the Garuda Purana, children who die before developing significant karma often receive immediate favorable rebirths or even ascend to higher realms. They haven't accumulated the heavy karmic baggage that adults carry. This offers some comfort to parents who've lost children. The soul of that child isn't suffering, it's continuing its journey. And that journey might actually be easier than it would have been had the child lived a full life and accumulated difficult karma. Now, I want to share something personal. When I first studied the Garuda Purana deeply, I spent 3 months reading multiple translations, comparing Sanskrit verses, consulting with scholars. It changed how I live. Not because I became paranoid about hell, but because it made death real to me, not as an abstract concept, not as something that happens to other people, but as something that will happen to me, to everyone I love. Certainly, inevitably. And that awareness, rather than making me depressed, made me more alive, more present, more intentional about how I spend my time and energy. I started asking myself, if I died tonight, would I be okay with how I spent today? And on days when the answer was no, I started changing my behavior. I reached out to family members I'd been meaning to call. I forgave people I'd been holding grudges against. I started treating strangers with more kindness because the text made me realize that every interaction creates karma. I became more careful with my words because speech creates energy that ripples outward. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. But the Garuda Purana gave me a framework for understanding that those mistakes have consequences. And more importantly, it gave me hope that I can always choose to act better in the next moment. Because that's really what karma means. Not fate, not predetermined destiny, but the accumulated result of your choices. And every moment is a new choice. Let me bring this to a close by sharing the most profound teaching from the Garuda Purana. It's found near the end of the text, and it's something Lord Vishnu emphasizes to Garuda. The body is temporary. The world is temporary. Pleasure and pain are temporary. Birth and death are temporary. The only permanent reality is the Atman, the soul, which is one with Brahman, the infinite consciousness. All suffering comes from forgetting this truth. All liberation comes from remembering it. In other words, you are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your possessions or accomplishments. You are the awareness that experiences all of these things. And that awareness is eternal, unchanging, and ultimately one with the source of all existence. Death is simply the soul removing the costume of this particular body and either putting on a new costume or, if liberated, recognizing it never needed a costume at all. The journey through Yamaloka, through the 16 cities, through judgment, through heaven or hell or rebirth, all of this is the soul's way of learning, purifying, evolving. It's not punishment, it's education. And the ultimate lesson is this: you are divine. You've always been divine. You've just forgotten. And life, death, and rebirth are the process of remembering. So what should you take away from this video? What should you actually do with this knowledge? First, don't be paralyzed by fear. The Garuda Purana isn't meant to terrify you into compliance. It's meant to wake you up to the significance of your choices. Second, start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Begin living with more awareness, more integrity, more compassion. Third, have the difficult conversations with yourself about what you really value, with others about forgiveness, about love, about what needs to be said. Fourth, develop a spiritual practice, whatever that means to you. Meditation, prayer, study of sacred texts, service to others, something that connects you to the deeper dimensions of existence. Fifth, make peace with death, not by ignoring it, not by pretending it won't happen, but by understanding it as a transition, not an ending, by preparing for it consciously. And sixth, remember that according to the Garuda Purana, the greatest gift you can give others is to help them understand these truths, to guide them toward Dharma, to support their spiritual journey. This is why I made this video. This is why the text has been preserved for thousands of years. Knowledge of death gives you power over life. Understanding the journey makes you a better traveler. Knowing the destination helps you choose the right path. One final thought. The Garuda Purana ends with Lord Vishnu telling Garuda, those who hear these teachings with an open heart, who contemplate them deeply, who live according to their wisdom, they will be freed from fear. They will live with purpose. And when death comes, they will meet it as a friend, not an enemy. That's my wish for you, that you live fully, that you love deeply, that you act righteously, that you grow spiritually, and that when your time comes, whenever that may be, you face that transition with peace, with awareness, and with the understanding that you are simply going home. Thank you for watching. If this video affected you, if it made you think, if it changed your perspective even slightly, please share it with someone who might benefit. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. What resonated with you? What challenged you? What questions do you still have? In the next video, we'll explore the Bhagavad Gita's teachings on karma yoga and how taking right action can lead to liberation even while living an ordinary life. You won't want to miss it. Until then, live consciously, die fearlessly, and remember, you are not the body. You are the eternal soul experiencing this temporary adventure called life. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Peace. Peace.